Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Crypto Crazy left me unsupervised, so things might get a little bit silly here, and I'll get to make up stories about him. Where Crazy is he's doing his crypto OnlyFans right now due to the market pump, and he's swinging around his green candle doing windmills for Satoshis. So if you get a chance, make sure you head over to his Twitter. The link's in the channel page, and cheer him on.
Blast them.
Just blast them. And as for today, we are going to be announcing the first word in our giveaway. It'll be random throughout the episode. I'm going to rudely interrupt somebody. And we'll get that to you. And our co-host for tonight is Mr. Chart Davidson. How are you tonight, sir?
Excellent. I'm excited about what happened today with Bitcoin. I'm excited about what's happening in the markets. I'm excited to co-host, man. This is great. I might actually take this opportunity to make this my full-time gig. You never know, right? Yeah, so watch out, Crypto Crazy. If I have a good time, it might be one of those things where I nudge you aside, but we'll see.
He can be part of the Roundtable panel instead. You can't show up.
Yeah, you're gonna be in level 2, my man. Level 2.
Level 2. You can't show up for work. Yeah, you get demoted.
It's a doggy-dog world, man. It's a doggy-dog world.
So
just like crypto, we don't sleep.
Yeah, so we had a crazy week this week with pretty much the whole crypto market as a whole. I think everybody's crypto wallets are getting a little heavy to carry around. So let's talk about first let's just go over the whole market as it is, and we'll talk about market cap and where things are here. So we have total market cap is up 2.73% today at 2.29 trillion. Bitcoin's market cap is at 1.2 trillion, almost ready to surpass silver, which is mind-blowing to me. Dominance is up to 52.8%. And let's head over to the crypto bubbles.
Just before you hit that, the fear and greed index is actually 86. So it's not peaking yet, but it's close. It's getting close. But the one thing we can talk about is that the fear and greed index can stay pretty hot for a long period of time. So just because it's in the green zone doesn't mean we have to sell. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah, if you were around the last bull market, I think it stayed in extreme greed for almost a year straight. So
we were very, very greedy.
Yeah, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to that until we start seeing some volatility and some selling.
Yep.
Let's go back to the crypto bubbles here. Look at that
Hex, huh?
Yeah, that'd be our top player for today. Earlier on, it was Bonk. I believe Bonk was up almost 50% on the day.
Yeah, I think in the last 2-3 days, it was up almost 100%. So it was flying. And I think sent shockwaves to all the memes because they were going as well.
Yeah, and then as for the week, Pepe's our big winner, which I thought that had disappeared at this point, but yeah, it's up 125% on the week with Bonk's up 87% on the week. Yeah, just green across the board, and aside from the last few hours, which is
the one thing I did notice is the GameFi tokens are actually coming up. You see Gala's up 36%, AXS, which is Axie Infinity 21%, right? And Wild is down. Sorry, that's Wild. Wild token or the World token. That's it. I was thinking of the Wild token from I think it's Wild Worlds, I believe. I thought that was going not too long ago, but I noticed the GameFi is actually pretty hot right now.
Yeah. The Gala, that, yes, I was actually looking at my holdings of it earlier on today, and I don't trade it. I don't have it staked or anything else. And yeah, just the bag alone on the year, it's up 300%. So that's definitely a good hold for me.
That's it? Okay.
That's it. He's sitting
Sorry.
there. He's sitting there doing nothing. 3x.
I love it.
And we got Black Cat in the chat. Happy Crypto Thursday to you too.
Yeah, it's been fairly active today, huh? Lots of stuff going on.
Yeah, it's exciting. So let's get into the spot ETF volumes. The block hasn't updated as of yet, but this week has been absolutely insane for the ETFs as a whole, where Monday they did 3.29 billion in transactions. Granted, this is buying and selling, but obviously there's not a whole lot of selling pressure. Tuesday they did 3.16 billion. Yesterday they hit a record 7.61 billion total, and I do believe today is in and around 5 billion range. I seen something saying that they hit the second highest day since the launch.
Hey, Deb, can we stop the moment to appreciate this for a second? Because let's think about where we've come, right? Where we're talking about billions of dollars being put into asset like Bitcoin, right? Like 10 years ago, this was not even the topic. And here we are when we have billions of dollars put into crypto from the institutions and large investors. I think this is monumental for everyone. So
yeah, well,
kudos to everyone who did it.
Even a year ago, I do believe all these asset managers were calling it a scam. It's worth nothing. And as soon as they realized that they could get in on the deal, they started loving it. I believe only one.
You know how they work, right? They in order for them to buy low, they got to put all the FUD out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you saw literally Jamie Dimon talk shit about Bitcoin, and yet he's creating his own marketplace for it, or he's creating his own custodial tools for different assets like Bitcoin or Ethereum. So whenever they talk out there in the public, it's just nonsense, and they want to be able to buy lower at a discount. So this is how they play the game.
Yeah, and then today there was a ton of news about individual banks offering access to these ETFs as well, which goes above and beyond just the asset manager side of it when banks are putting it into their investment and income portfolios to provide to all their customers personally. It's a big deal, and there's a lot more room to go. We are still early.
Yeah, we're very early, and at the same time, we're not so early, right? It depends on what time frame you would look at. It's nice that we're pumping and we're all happy and joyful, but at the same time, we have to keep an eye on when we have our exits. And, Bitcoin has gone up a lot. Like, these majors have gone up a ton, but we got to be curious to know when they're going to top out and when are the alts going to, pump and then eventually scale out and dump.
Yeah. Eventually you do hit that plateau, right, where all your initial investors will show up, they will be invested, and things will cool down, right? And then that's where you start getting the sideways chop, or you get investors starting to take some profits, especially on the institutional side, where they'll have just actual policy to get rid of an asset at a certain percentage and have that take profit margin, or bots, which pretty much do the same thing and take the emotion out of the trading itself. So we will see that. We will see, retail volatility. You do see a lot of rumors saying that these spot ETFs are going to dump on the market or take over the market or anything else. And I think it's important for people to understand that these companies aren't investing and they aren't the custodians. They're providing a product for a customer. So whether it's institutional or regular retail, which from what I'm reading it's a good mix of both at this point. It's the individual person holding their position through ARK Invest or BlackRock or Fidelity, whoever they chose. So yeah, the market's still going to be prone to the volatility. FUD affects everybody, including bots, because as soon as people get scared, that triggers buy and sell signals on bots as well, right? So yeah, I wouldn't be FOMOing in right now. There will be a correction at some point, and that would be your time to buy that dip, as my name states. And
hey, speaking of dips, do you want to throw in the iShares Bitcoin Trust, the IBIT chart on the screen for a second? I want to show you on the 1 hour time frame how funny it looks. There's so many gaps. I mean, if you look at it, right?
Yeah.
The price action, works away to the right, and all of a sudden gaps up again and gaps up again. So that tells me that the weekend warriors take control and move the Bitcoin in one direction or the other. Yeah. And of course, the traditional markets can't catch up with us, so they got to gap up, right?
Yeah.
And those spots will eventually fill through trading, whenever that is. I don't know, but it's kind of interesting to see, because we did talk about this before, where we did believe that there's going to be this kind of an irregular price action for these ETFs, because they don't trade normally. They trade only in market hours of traditional markets. So it's kind of interesting to see the way things are shaping up. You see how that is a massive gap up there at I think it was like $33, goes up to 36. It looks like it's going to scale down now, or it's going to tread sideways, but it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I exercised extreme caution in calling for that downward move as of a couple weeks ago. The charts were just looking like it hit that ceiling, and it was time to get a little cool down and correction. And I had mentioned it, saying I'm short term a little bit bearish, long term super bull as always. But that all the market did was flag out into a nice big bull flag and straight up again, right? And
that's the fear.
Yeah, and then looking at Bitcoin right now, I know I'm not much for TA in comparison to my co-host here, but I'll show some market cipher right now.
Well, it looks like it's a easy head and shoulders at the top, right? So if we do see a rejection at any point, it will happen at the neckline, which is where it is right now. So if we do have a rejection, and say, for example, the 1 hour and the 4 hour are actually fully reset, then yes, we will have additional moves up, because we did talk about this, I want to say a few days ago, just before that run, because that's exactly what happened. The 1 hour and the 4 hour fully reset, perfectly reset on the MACD and the RSI, and we had obviously a move up by a substantial amount too, over 10%.
Yeah, and then as for the market cipher indicator here, you got the blue waves, which are momentum waves. And generally, you'll see Bitcoin move in phases of 3. So you look here, you got 1 hump, 2 humps, 3 humps on there, and then now we broke below the horizon line. So we'll probably do something similar here, and then that's pretty much bringing us right till market open on Sunday night, before my interpretation of the charts, we're going to see any significant action at this point.
Yeah, and the 4 hour time frame also, it looks like it's kind of getting weak. There's a bearish pinch on the MACD. So whenever there's a bearish pinch, you got to consider maybe there's some pull to the downside. But like we saw before, it started actually on the 7th. There was a pump on the 7th, right, of February, towards about the 10th, and then the pinch happened again. And of course, we had price action to move upwards, which means there's so much demand and then enough selling, right? Yeah. And so this could happen as well, where we tread sideways for a period and then we pump as soon as everything else is reset. I just checked the 1 hour time frame is completely reset for the MACD, which means either we tread sideways for a period of time until the 4 hour resets, or we just keep going. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, even the EMAs here, all the way up to the 4 hour, they are fairly low. So there's room, but we're not oversold or overbought. Just same. I'm reading the same thing as you. It looks like we're going to get another sideways chop for a bit,
which is great for alts. I'll be honest with you, because it doesn't allow the alts with strong dominance on Bitcoin to move either way, right? Because we talked about this last week, where we talked about the dominance being at a fairly strong resistance, and once we broke through, all alts basically suffered, and that's what we saw today actually. And if we have a regression in Bitcoin dominance, I think we are having that right now. Alts will have the chance to pump, and so hopefully we get that in the next 4 to 8 hours.
Yeah, it's always exciting when you get that break, and then the alts have a chance to absorb some of that liquidity that's come into the crypto market. And, you get those low caps that, just go parabolic. It's absolutely fantastic and exciting times right now.
Oh, I know. Stop it. Stop it. You're giving me FOMO, even though I'm pretty well allocated. I know. It's a good time. It's a really good time. And like I said in our spaces today, I said, even if we somehow don't end up with a bull run this year, which I'll be shocked, by the way, if we get it into 2025, we're going to have much, much higher valuations for everything. Higher total 3, which is the market cap for all altcoins minus Ethereum. We're going to have like $2 trillion in total market cap of all the alts. We will have a massive overall crypto market cap, which I think if it ends this year is going to be about 10 trillion. If it ends next year, it's going to be double to that. I think it's going to be about 20 trillion. So it's a win-win situation for us at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And whether we do it now or next year, it's all good.
Yeah, I'm still holding that position that we've been in a bull market since the beginning of 2023, but we haven't seen the parabolic moves yet that people would normally associate with a bull market. I can't see things waiting till late next year. Personally, I think there's been a lot brought into the market. I think today would be the highest monthly close ever in Bitcoin's history. Today,
it's looking amazing.
We're just starting to see retail interest come in. I don't think anybody's looking to dump their bags unless there's rules forcing them to.
So for example, like you just said, the monthly close on Bitcoin just finished, right? I think Asian time came in just now, and they closed the candle. It is as bullish it can get, right? Like, think about it for a second. It's as big as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months of candles.
Yeah.
Like we're definitely bullish, right? If we do have any retracements from here, it's going to be very minor. Like I mentioned, maybe we'll get down to say a 58,000 or even like a 48,000, but it's going to come back right up. And I haven't seen MACD post a lower, I guess you can call it a bar, where it's like momentum bar, than the previous month. So we're still looking amazing. And we're going to continue on. Now, I hope we don't do this until the halving event and then we drop, because that means our life of this bull run is going to be much, much shorter, right? So it's going to be interesting where we land at the end of, I guess, March.
Yeah, I don't know what the recent data is on the halving date. Last week they were calling for the end of April, and there's been a massive amount of transactions since then. So I'm sure that's cut.
I think it was 26th of April. For last time I checked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm checking right now. Yeah, it says April 26th.
Okay. So it didn't go down as much as I thought. I think at one point there, didn't it get to like mid-April or early April?
Actually, earlier than April. I think it was April 4th.
Yeah.
So I was worried that we won't have enough time, right? Because we still need the time for all to go, So I wonder if we're going to have to run up to the date, right? Or sometimes we pull up until like maybe 5 days out, and we say, okay, let's start to sell off at that point, right? But most of the major sell-offs, in my estimation, take time to manifest. So there'll be a long period of distribution at the top. So you won't have a massive pump and a massive candle down. It's going to be massive pump, consolidation, or distribution, right? And then we drop. So you're looking at well enough time to know when we're at the top. Okay.
Yeah, we got Crypto Crazy in the chat. I guess he took a minute to stop doing windmills on OnlyFans to come say hi. So hi,
Crazy. I think I'm going to take your job if you're listening to this. I think I'm enjoying this way too much.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Yeah, what else is there to cover on Bitcoin right now? I think we've pretty much covered all those.
The one thing I want to talk about is the stablecoin dominance. I usually touch up, or a inverse reflection of what people are doing. So if the chart dominance is dumping, that means people are putting stablecoins into good use. So they're buying crypto, and we've had a pretty decent monthly candle for dominance. It free-falled from about 6.24% all the way down to here, which is at 4.4, I believe. Now it's 4.47. But there's no end in sight. I honestly don't know where it's going to land. Normally, and I always talk about this during our spaces, is I look at the structure of a head and shoulders pattern that's forming, right? So most likely what we had in 2021 to 2022 was the left shoulder of an inverse head and shoulders pattern, or of a head and shoulders pattern. And so the head part was the bear market. Now we're experiencing the bull market. So I don't know when we're going to print that bottom part. Is it going to be at the neckline? It's going to be further down the neckline, which at this point is going to be about 2%. So if you're going to think we're going to have like a even form head and shoulders pattern, the neckline is at 2%. So we got a ton more to go. But now if it's skewed in position, then we will have a chance for a rebound at 4%, which normally is bearish for the markets. So if you are looking to get an edge and understand where we are, follow this chart. I can't stress this enough. Okay, so USDT.D is a chart you want to look at, and it's an inverse relationship of crypto to stablecoins.
I will actually pull that up just so people can see it.
Yeah. You can even put it on the monthly scale. It's perfect. See that? So that depicts basically what we're talking about. See how it's slanted? The price action is slanted, right? Yeah. We could be looking at a slanted head and shoulders pattern where the 21 to 22 is the left shoulder, right? And then we had the head printed during the bear market, right? And then now we're getting out of the bear market. We're going to go all the way down towards that neckline, right? All the way down, to the 4% neckline. If you put a neckline across, that will be basically like a trend line. And then that could be a bounce spot for the market, which means the market will turn bearish at that point. So we're going to keep an eye on that. If somehow that doesn't hold, which I don't think it will at this point, it looks like it's just going to drop like crazy. 2% is the bounce. So if you want to go all the way down, perfect, like right there is where you want to look at for a possible bounce for this. So keeping this chart open at all times during 2024 is going to be essential, because we want to know exactly when we need to start to scale out our positions. And at this rate, looking at the MACD, if you can pull up, I guess you have the micro cipher, you have all those things, but MACD is dropping like it's hot, and there's no stopping it. So until I see a change in the velocity of MACD, I am going to be completely bullish on the market until that happens.
Yeah, I guess a simple way to explain that to people that are new to the space is generally when people are expecting a downward move in the market, they will transfer their money over to stable coins, which are pretty much pegged dollar for dollar with the US dollar. So by seeing this chart drop, that means they're putting their money into Bitcoin and altcoins across the board. And then when you see this chart go up, which chart's talking about, it means they're selling their cryptocurrency and putting it back into stables to wait for a lower opportunity.
Exactly. So this is very, very important because it proved to be true in the last bull run, and I know it will be proven true in this bull run. So we'll keep an eye on that and go from there.
Excellent. One thing I did want to ask you about, Chart, was your dgenz project. The last time you got to speak about it on the channel here was in its infancy, before you had released your first NFT collection, or at around the same time. Would you like to share with everybody how that works? And I have all the links for it in the description. And
absolutely. So first off, please follow us on Twitter or any of the socials. That's dgenz NFT on Twitter, or follow me, Chart Davidson, on Twitter. And the link is going to be in my profile. We're a very tight-knit community that is trying to navigate the crypto ecosystems through education, trading, discussing art, discussing tools, discussing technology, AI, whatever. And so we minted our dgen girls as a means to allow some people who are not privy to the ins and outs of crypto to be partaking in a portfolio, right, managed by myself. And we are doing actually great. We haven't even started, and we're looking at like a really nice, sizable portfolio. So we're happy about that. The other thing we're trying to do is, because we also have an NFT that's associated with the project, especially because it's used for gating access into the sections in the Discord, such as like the trading channel and the calls and the education, all the stuff, the conversation. We are going through a art upgrade because we took on the project about a year and a little bit ago, and we assumed the art that came with it. And so now we want to make it our own. We're going to keep the same idea, the same feel for the NFTs and the artwork, but we're going to change up a few things, make things look more professional. And we have an artist on board and stylist who is our art director. She's going to be working on that as well. So we're excited. We're going to be putting that together. And that's going to probably take us into the mid-year. It's going to be, well, I shouldn't reveal all the details, but I know it's going to involve our native token dgenz. And so we'll probably release more information on that as well. I'm not gonna do the announcement because they're gonna kill me. So why don't you, if you guys are looking for another announcement, we do have another one. Just go by our Discord. We're about to post the announcement for something else that we're working on. So I'm not gonna spill the tea. They're gonna kill me. My team is gonna be yelling at me and texting me a wall of text in the morning. So I'm not gonna do that. But it's exciting time to be around us because we've been, at least I've been around crypto for a long time now. I have experience with everything in crypto outside of liquidity pools. I still haven't got my hands on liquidity pools just because I don't know. I don't need the time to manage them, So I'm not going to do that, but eventually I will do that. I know I dabble into everything. I try out everything in crypto. So, but it's good to have people that are like that, like-minded, experienced to guide you through this, because it's so hard. I hoped that somebody was there for me when I started, and nobody was there. So I want to bring that to everyone. I want to make sure that people can prosper, because I think good things happen to good people, right? And so if you do good things, things will come just as good in the long run. So it's a lot of fun. We have a good time doing it, and there's a lot of fun activities associated with it. So yeah, a lot of good things are happening with us at dgenz.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, sorry, I forgot to say that our art director and stylist, she's going to be in NFT NYC presenting on a panel with 5 other people, I believe, talking about community building and things like that. So really excited to share that with everyone. And I think we're going to be posting a whole bunch of stuff about that, because I think it's coming up. I think it's in a month and a half or so. So yeah. Exciting times.
Yeah, I think I had a pretty similar experience to you when I first got into the space. It was pretty much left to hard knocks. So anybody that was portraying an olive branch to help was generally looking to take advantage. And that's why I like dgenz, and what our goal is here on this channel as well, is to build that solid crypto community, to share the information, to learn, have a place to hang out, and get away from the normies who don't understand. And then just help people grow. There's lots of room in the space for everybody. Being selfish isn't going to put more on your own table.
Yeah, you know what? Like I say, I wish somebody was there, like yourself and Crypto Crazy and everybody that we met over the years. At the moments I started, it was just me, right? I would go to my friends and ask them, hey, do you want to invest into some miners? They're like, what the hell for? I'm like, well, what do you mean what the hell for? We're going to be mining Bitcoin. We can make some Bitcoin. It's like, oh, get out of here. Why would I waste money on such a thing? It's wasting money. I said, all right, no problem. I'll do it myself then. So I bought a miner myself, and my ROI was like 8 months. So you're waiting for that to kick in and get you your money back. And Mt. Gox happened and all this other stuff. So it was very difficult. It felt like you're just doing it by yourself. There was no community aspect to it. And so now it feels like we're broadening our reach, and we're finally, making these communities, and we're sharing, and we're winning together. It's very, very exciting, and I'm really happy to have not only you guys and dgenz, but I have also my Telegram community. It's really, really small as well, but they're around with me now for like 5 years, 6 years, I think. So, it's nice to have people around you that are willing to, put in the work and enjoy each other's company, and actually, benefit from this financially and individually.
Yeah, I think people that are showing up in the space now with the retail hype starting to happen are in for a rude awakening. At a big part, you see a lot of mismanagement of companies that are too big to fail in the crypto space, and a lot of it has to do with experience in the crypto space and not seeing the amount of gains you get used to seeing, and et cetera, which lead to some pretty degenerate business practices when you look at stuff like FTX, et cetera, where you're pretty much leveraging customers' funds to try and maintain your margins and collapsing. And you'll learn a lot. It's good to find that solid community that'll keep you grounded. There is mass amounts of wealth you can make with lower rates of return. You look at the Warren Buffetts of the world that became gazillionaires investing in stocks like Coca-Cola, paying a 1% dividend. It all compounds, it all adds up. And then it's nice to have the knowledge in the space and the people to help with the research in the space, like Chart himself, that can lead you on the right path to make some of those explosive moves and not rely on bigger companies and shadier practices in the space and unnecessary risks. Yeah, you're guided through it. It's really nice.
It's so easy to make those pitfalls too, because there's so much information out there. So where are you going to start? You know, where are you going to go find that right resource of information? Because, you know, the game is all about manipulation. Who you can manipulate to buy your bags, essentially. And so how do you try to not to get to that point where you're buying someone else's bags thinking your bag is going to do a 10x when in fact you're at the peak of the bull run, right? So how do you avoid that? And the best way to do it is hang out around people like us, people who have been around forever, people who have amassed all this knowledge, because, you know, I didn't just become, I guess, whatever I am today by just, you know, being right all the time. You know, I've made a ton of mistakes myself, and I can share that experience through, you know, the things we talk about all the time, you know, whether it's here or on our spaces, we have those stories to share. And so if that could change somebody's perception or, you know, make them more knowledgeable and more resourceful, then I'm winning. So that's the way to look at it.
Yeah, exactly. And even now, we've all been around a long time, and we'll still make mistakes. I think that's part of an investment journey to begin with. There is nobody that can see the future. You use your technical analysis, trends, the lagging indicators you can get at a close enough time frame as you can, and you make the best educated decision based on experience, right? What goes up must go down, and what goes down must come up again. Liquidity will bounce around. And then you just learn how to play that game in the space. And if you're introduced to the space on the crypto side, and as you get into the traditional finance side of things, you'll find the traditional markets, it's like trading in slow motion. It's absolutely fantastic. And easy.
That is so true. And that's why, like, the allure for crypto is there, for at least for me, is that, you know, once I learned that they're 24 hours a day, I thought, holy shit, like, how am I supposed to sleep? I remember when I started, I used to set alarms for different coins. I would set alarm for Bitcoin and Litecoin, a couple other like dinosaur coins. And, you know, they would wake me up 3 a.m. because they went up 10%. And I'm like, oh man, like, what do I do? And so I spent years and years of countless midnights and nights, you know, trying to sleep, but I couldn't because things are going up and down so much. They're so volatile. I remember being woken up in the middle of the morning because Litecoin went up 120%. You know, so I've been there, done that. That's the allure. I don't know. There's something exciting about that. That, you know, it's 24 hours a day. It could be. I don't know. There's a lot of appeal to me.
Yeah, I remember myself back when I was newer into it. I was right into trading all the time, and I used to wake up in the middle of the night so I could catch that Asian market close and the European market open. And I would make so much money at that time, but I wouldn't sleep. So it was like every single night I'm losing sleep, and then I would completely ignore the North American markets when it came to trading.
Right, because you're tired so much. I remember doing that too. I remember setting up a bot to trade, I believe it was Litecoin. And I was just making sure it was running properly. So I would stay up till like 4 a.m. just watching it trade. I'm like, am I going to be okay to just go to sleep? You know, if I wake up, it's down 20%. I'm like, what did you do? You know, so I set all these alerts and all these fail saves just to make sure I'm okay. They don't, like, you know, make me lose a lot of money. And I've done that, and then I've also done the manual thing where I would be like watching charts till 3 a.m, just watching, try to trade, and sometimes the trade is not going your way. You're like, oh my god, when am I going to get out of this trade? And so you're up till like 3 a.m. watching it, and like, and then you have the dilemma: do you go to sleep? If you go to sleep, there's a potential of it moving the other way. And so you get into that position where I'm like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna like see what happens. And I've had many of those nights, and it sucks. But now I'm actually in a position where I don't have to do that. I understand there's a short-term position, a long-term position, short trades, swing trades, macro trades. So you got to know what you're trading at the end of the day.
Okay, I'm gonna do the super rude interruption and announce the first word in our giveaway for the Elapal wallet, the seed phrase, and the steel, and the generator, seed phrase generator. So the first word is Bitcoin. I will show here is the wallet, still sealed, factory, seed phrase generate our steel, and here is the Elapal Joy generator, and I absolutely am adoring that product.
Hold on a second. Am I eligible for this?
Sure.
Can I be? I mean, that's an awesome giveaway. Like, what the hell?
Well, I think the coolest part about this wallet that is the self-destruct mode on it. Like, if it's tampered,
so it could detonate.
Yeah, if it's physically tampered with in any way whatsoever, there's a chip inside that will instantly nuke all the data. And then,
wow.
When it comes to security, like for people that like to share what their holdings are, so if someone was to be threatening you or your loved ones for access to your wallet to transfer your crypto out, you actually have the option on there of setting up a secondary password, which opens up a dummy wallet. And in that dummy wallet, you can have a disposable amount of crypto in there that you're not too worried about, and keep all your true investments safe and locked away, and then hopefully save yours or your skin, or hopefully not a loved one or anything else. But when you start sharing wealth, shady characters definitely come out of the woodwork.
It's always like that. And, that's why, that's the part about crypto that's kind of shitty at the moment, being discretionary with what you want to share and not share, so it's good to have some features finally that we can kind of use to make sure that we're safe from those who want to steal from us, so that's kind of like the benefit from having these hardware wallets. And I think this is a great giveaway, by the way. Great one.
Yeah, thank you. And then, I guess the main part is Elapal is completely air gapped, so you never actually connect it to any network, regardless if it's Bluetooth or NFC, near field communication chip, or you're never hooking a USB into your computer that can transfer data, anything. Complete air gap. All software updates are done through micro SD card, so that wallet is never connected to any network at any time. So,
what blockchain does it support?
All of them. It supports over 10,000 different cryptos. I believe most NFT platforms.
Amazing. That's one thing you always want to hear is, what does it support? If you want to download something and you want to buy a token, am I going to be able to store offline? And if the answer is yes, it's a winner for me.
Yeah, well, self-custody is another thing that people new to the space will quickly learn, and the people that are in the traditional markets investing in Bitcoin, I can see a lot of them slowly migrating over once they realize that they can self-custody without paying fees every year. So there will be another wave when it comes to safe crypto storage.
Awesome. Yeah, I have a ledger myself, but it's always good to have more options out there. And the more of these offline wallets you have, the better it is for you.
Yeah. I didn't want to choose a ledger for the first giveaway. Like, I use Ledger as well. And that's just because that's who the leader was when I bought the wallets. But over the past year, I don't know. I don't think they're unsafe in any way whatsoever. But the idea of even attempting to cater to people. Oh, we'll hold your seed phrase for you, or have a backup, or
Yeah,
anything
that's nonsense.
whatsoever. No,
No.
I've seen too many fall. You just don't do that. Like,
you don't want to be giving out your seed phrase to anybody for any reason.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things people have to understand when they're online. No one's going to be asking for your seed phrase. Nobody.
No.
Like, nobody. The only time you have to enter a seed phrase is if you're actually starting a brand new wallet, you want to port your assets into that wallet, then yes, you can use that seed phrase. But never online, right? Maybe if you install an extension, right? If you want to install like a MetaMask or a Phantom, any of those wallets, and you want to import that wallet, okay, right? But no application on the internet is going to be asking you for your seed phrase. Like, if they do, they're scamming you. That's it. That's very simple for everyone.
And that's where the seed phrase generator comes into effect too. When you do download a MetaMask or Phantom wallet or anything else, you do have the option of downloading your 24-word seed phrase off the hop. What this device does, it's completely offline, and it allows you to generate your own. So even these companies supplying the wallet have never had any access to that seed phrase at all as an extra line of security when it comes to self-custody. And it'll work with any BIP32 wallet. So yeah, your MetaMask, your Phantoms, Ledgers, yeah, pretty much all of them across the board that is a self-custody wallet. Okay, so one thing we haven't got into, now that I've got the giveaway side done for this week, is altcoin market. What are we bullish on?
Where do you want to start? There's a lot to go over. Are you looking for big caps, small caps, mid caps? Are we looking for, GameFi? Are we looking for RWA, DPIN, IoT? There's so much.
Yes. Well, I do have the Human Crypto Encyclopedia co-hosting with me tonight. So, and his project actually does provide a portfolio. So let's just go over what you would choose, regardless of sector.
So what I've actually, my pick of the week, for those who didn't hear my space, was Oculus. And the reasons for that is because, the music industry is growing in exponential ways, and the person who is behind Oculus also owns Ditto Music. It's a distribution online company for independent artists. And he was just talking to me today on the space about how his company pays millions of dollars to artists in royalties, and how he found out that it is very difficult for his group to identify where proper investments should go. Whether, for example, you invest into a catalog or not, to buy more music, to do these things. So he introduced an AI tool within Oculus to help with this as an investor, for example, or an artist. And so it was very interesting to hear him talk about it. The other thing about Oculus was the whole notion of real world assets and how that plays into crypto in general. All these years, we didn't have any vehicles to invest into, besides obviously buying the token and staking it, right, or putting a liquidity pool, but nothing tangible. Getting away from, for example, Web3 into traditional markets. And so what Oculus is trying to do is take music rights and licensing and copyrights and put them into real assets. So for everything you do in Oculus, it goes back to those things. It goes back to artists, it goes back to music rights, licensing, and so on and so forth. So the entire project is trying to focus on that. They're trying to bring a lot of investors into the music space through these things, through the tools they're going to be providing. So super easy to talk about them because I'm invested in them. I'm also happy that I've spoken to the CEO many times. I understand his perspective, and not only that, he's leveraging his Ditto company for Opulus. So he's leveraging his ties with Ditto. He's going to use the networking and all these other things that he's been a part of over the years. So I'm super excited about this project. I think this one will have over 5-6 billion market cap. I think the total supply right now is about 500 to 600 million. So seeing it at 6 billion is nothing. Especially because there's no other competition, right? The other one that's coming close to Opulus is Audius, but I'm not sure they're in the same boat. I think they're more into like streaming, music streaming, I believe. This is completely different. They're creating marketplace for artists that can offer up their music for licensing of their royalties and things like that through MFTs, which is kind of like an NFT. They call it a music fungible token. And so they're providing that for artists. They're going to have a marketplace for that. So it's going to be a self-promoted thing for them. And it's amazing. So like looking at the chart itself, like say, for example, I'm like, all right, when do I buy it in?
Would you like me to pull
it
it up?
came onto the scene in 2021, at the tail end of 2021. All right. So if you pull up a daily chart of Opulus, okay, you will see that it came on the scene at about end of 2021. Okay. So is that crypto.com? Okay. Look at the KuCoin chart. I believe that one has more history.
Okay. This one's starting April 22.
Yeah, so there's one that starts in October 2021. So that's the KuCoin chart. Okay. So if you look, right, there you go. So see, when things get listed right at the tail end of the bull run, they normally have that spike, a nice little spike, and then they tail off. And this is the best chart setup I can look at for any tokens. It's similar to this, right? Where we have the spike, we have the long drawdown, and then we have a consolidation for a period of almost 2 years. So when you have that long consolidation, the run up is actually going to be bigger than the first spike, right? So normally what I say is most of these projects do double of all-time high. Okay, so if that's the case, we're looking at $14 for Opulus. All right. I know it sounds like, oh my God, it's 100x. Yeah, I know it's 100x. I have seen things go way more and higher than what this is going to do. So at the most bearish point, I would say Opulus will be at $5 because there's a lot of resistance at 5. But knowing what I know about this company, knowing how it's going to be leveraging its very, very popular distribution music service, how it's going to bring in investors for their OVAult token, which is a way to describe their music catalog paying back the investors. So they actually own a music catalog, right? And they own like Michael Jackson songs, Celine Dion songs, BTS songs, so many songs. And they use the royalty payments they get from them to pay back these investors, right? And so that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is the one I talked to you about is the marketplace with any artist can be, trying to get some seed money for whatever project they were trying to figure out and do by presenting these MFTs to any investors. And, it's such a crazy world. I love it. It's such a new thing to happen to crypto. And it is tangible, right? This is not like some random guy trying out to do this. This guy has a track record for over 10 years with Ditto Music, and he's gone into Opulus since 2018, I believe. That's when he said he started it. And so this has been in production for 6 years. He's already got everything ready to go. So I'm thrilled that I found this project in 21. I watched it go all the way down to wherever it is. I think it was like 5 cents. And it was like, the hallelujah moment. I'm like, this is it, man. I'm really happy to talk about Opulus whenever you ask me.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting thing, I guess, for me. Simplify it because I just showed that whole chart, and someone new to the space would go, well, that looked like it died. Um, well, that's when you want to buy. And then
Exactly.
you're looking at this shorter term on the daily from where we are now. If we get up and break this like 23 cent resistance level here, there's really no other resistance. It's just going to go straight up to the $5 point.
Exactly. And it's like in bull markets, these things go faster the higher they go, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of resistance early on, and then once we get spikes to through $2-3, it's just, I'm telling you, I've seen this way too many times. There's no resistance. It's just all of a sudden you wake up, it's at 7. You wake up, it's at 11. You're like, oh my God, what the hell? So these are the opportunities a lot of people have. Obviously, if you're listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, should I buy in, should I not buy in? This is not financial advice. Remember that. You have to do your own research. All the research that I've done is only for myself, and I'm only explaining that from my position. You still have to do your own research. You still have to do your due diligence, okay? So go on to Twitter, find Opulus, look into what they're doing, go on to, CoinGecko, see what they're all about, right? And then come back and figure this out, because I know my experience. I know where my my due diligence lies. So I'm confident in saying this is a buy for me, but make sure you do your own work.
Yeah, a 12 cent a token investment that could potentially, on the very, very low end, go $5. You can buy a really small disposable income, buy a really small bag, and get a good return off of that.
And be lucky that you're in this position now, because there were people when they were buying at $3, and think about what they're saying now to themselves when they're at 12 cents, right? So knowing that you're here, with this incredible opportunity, like, don't waste it. Yeah. And there's many of them out there like that, right? So this is only Opulus. There's so many other out there that are worth talking about, but I don't think we even have the time. So maybe next time. How about that?
Yeah, well, let's do one more. Another big mover in my portfolio has been IMX this past week. So now we're getting into NFT gaming territory.
Yeah, it's not at all-time high, because that was at I think $8. But I remember looking at IMX early last year, and I thought, what is the possible potential? I'm always about percentages. And to me, it was just not enough. Like, it's nice to have a 10X. Absolutely. Never said anything about that. But I want the 50 to 100, that's where the real money is to me. I am, when you eat a good meal and you go, no, I need something better. That's where I am at. I need some caviar. All right. And, that's what I'm aiming for. So IMX is great. If you already bought in, fantastic. I think you should definitely get your 10X out of it, for sure.
And then I don't know, another thing. When I originally invested in IMX, the reasoning for it was just another platform that was taking the pressure off in the NFT space. So I see a place where it could be a vacuum to get away from Ethereum fees, which obviously are never going to be under control.
Can I tell you something about that? So we were in the process of minting an NFT collection. Actually, it's called OK Dogs. It's a really big project company called OK Bears. And they wanted to branch out to Ethereum, and they minted a new collection. So we were able to mint a couple days ago, and each transaction was $110.
Wow.
Okay, like, how are you going to onboard the next billion people if you can't transact under $1?
And that was that just loading your own NFT?
So right, so we would mint the NFT. I think it was like $30, which is still fine, right? Yeah. But then we were buying off the secondary. The secondary was $110. So I ended up buying 2 more, and I was crying. But I'm like, this shouldn't feel like this, right? Because in the bull markets, I was paying like $200 per transaction. I didn't even care, because at the end of the day, if you're making $10,000 on a transaction, what do you care if you spend $200 on a trade? You don't care, right? It's all optics at the end of the day. But if we're not in the bull market yet and we're paying $110 for transactions, I'm like, wait a minute, this is off. This is too early to be spending $110 on transactions. So yeah, Ethereum is not the chain to do heavy transactions on. That's for sure.
Yeah, you just called me cheap, because even during the last bull market, I wasn't paying the fees.
I had no choice. I was like, certain tokens were not on centralized exchanges, so you just had to do it. You go, you know what? I'm going to use on Uniswap. I'm going to use Pancake Swap. I'm going to use whatever the Sushi Swap. And you just go with it, right? Because profit's profit at the end of the day. You don't care whether or not you're losing $100 or $200, But I think progressively worse. It's like most of these centralized exchanges now are using crazy fees for swaps. Yeah. So you're not only paying the difference in ETH, but you're also paying a crazy 4% fee. You're losing profit right away.
Yeah. So. Yeah, with my interest in it, the last bull market, it was more on the minting side. And if you wanted to say mint a 10,000 NFT collection at $100 an NFT, you need some serious capital to get that going, right?
Correct. I mean, so that's why I don't understand anything on ETH anymore.
Yeah,
I just don't.
That sparked my love for Solana. Because
no kidding, even now to mint a collection on Solana is I think it's 0.03 Sol per NFT. So if you have a 10,000 collection, that is what, 30 Sol, which is about $3,000. It's nothing compared to ETH, where it would be $100,000 to mint it, So
well, Solana it's even a lot cheaper than Matic, right? So Polygon.
Oh yeah,
and that was the cheaper option when you were dealing with companies like OpenSea and you wanted to do a mint, you're pretty much forced to use Polygon, and it's just let's just get right out of it and we'll go with Solana.
Yeah, it's going to be honestly the choice for all of us at the end of the day, because they proved to us a couple things, one of which being super cheap and super fast. That's what we want, cheap and fast. And they hit the nail on the head with everything, and I can't stop using it. You know what I mean? Even for USDC, it better be on Solana.
Yeah, and then even at the level Solana is right now, if it breaks through this resistance level that we're seeing at $134, you're shooting right back up to all-time highs, right? So just
it's amazing.
Good play, right?
Yeah, I actually didn't think it was going to be that high. I actually thought it's going to top out at $140. Let that be a nice resistance and then go from there. But this doesn't look like it's going to stop. It reminds me of crazy pumps I saw in low caps. Low caps have these kinds of pumps. We're like, how the hell is it doing that? And Solana's doing it with that liquidity. So yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
It's an amazing project, and I do believe they've went through their ups and downs. I remember back in the day there was a lot of FUD around the Solana network because they kept getting overloaded and shutting down the whole blockchain.
It was pretty comical.
It's been a long time since there's been any glitches in the network, and it seems
I think it's more people are staking, and solidifying the network, and I think it's much easier to deal with everything. RPCs are not going down so much this way. The one thing I got to tell you before we finish up for the night is keep an eye on SEI. SEI. All right. It feels like a nice pump coming out of SEI really, really soon. To it's 85 cents right now. I'm thinking $3. So yeah.
Okay, I'll see if I can find it here. I'll bring up the Kraken. Add that to the stage here. So this it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the daily chart. It does. When you look at it, you go, "Oh man, it looks like it's topping out." Well, when you look at it, actually, it finished making the right shoulder, and so when there is actually a rejection at the right shoulder, we will have a blast off. So if you actually squash the screen, so squash it a little bit. Okay. So go to the end. That's how you squash it a bit. You squash, and there you go. See that? See now the head and shoulders form?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So that's what happens. So when you have that rejection, it goes up like sky high. So I think we're almost there.
Excellent. Yeah, that wouldn't have triggered my radar looking at that chart.
Exactly, but you got to like look at it from a different angle. So
yeah. Good call. I found another trick when you're looking at charts. Before we finish up here, that's useful is invert your chart. If it so when a positive move looks like a negative move, it's like, okay, would I buy that dip? Then you know, all right, the market's going to reverse, right? And like, it actually adds a really cool perspective when you're actually looking at the charts.
Yeah, if you're dyslexic.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I don't know what I'm going to sell. Flip it up.
Yeah. I think we've bored everybody for long enough tonight. So, yeah, make sure you stop by dgenz and Discord and give them a follow if you want this guy with all this knowledge helping you out with your portfolio. It's an easy investment, and he's on Twitter as well. All links are in the description. And yeah, good luck to everybody. Next word will be next Thursday, and have a good night. Bye.
It was fun. Thanks, guys. See you next week.